From Southern Maryland's weather leader, this is a JB Weather Alert.
And good evening, everyone. I'm Forecaster John Bordash with you here still in the storm center this evening, continuing to track this line of showers and thunderstorms. We do have a brand new severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Charles County and parts of King George County. And the thunderstorm that's prompted this severe thunderstorm warning is actually pretty strong, producing plenty of lightning. We can see just the immense amount of lightning strikes here with this line, getting up near 300 strikes of lightning with this as the storm moves through Indian Head, Pittsburgh, getting on over towards the La Plata area down here near Port Tobacco and on over towards Welcome. This entire region right now really beginning to get in on some nasty weather. We're seeing the nasty weather also push through parts of Stafford County, and then on up towards the north we're even seeing a little bit of a heavier downpour move through parts of PG County that'll be moving into northern parts of Calvert County here probably over the next half hour. So continuing to see really how this line interacts with our atmosphere we have in place, and really how the direction of this line and the intensity it's able to maintain is able to continue as we move through the next couple of hours. The main action area, the main area of concern continues to be this line really right in through parts of Charles and Stafford County that's pushing south and east. That would really prompt me to think that much of our region up along the bay side, right up on the bay, from much of Coward and probably much of St. Mary's County, probably not going to get in on much. You might get something, though, with this northernmost storm here as it pushes through, but this is really going to be our concern area. Let me get you the latest information here on this storming, and this is a severe thunderstorm warning we have for this storm. This goes until 9:30. This is for western parts of Charles County as well as northern portions of King George County. The severe thunderstorm was located around 8 miles southeast of Woodbridge, Virginia, moving southeast at 15 miles an hour. So this really isn't that quick of a mover. And this is producing winds upwards of 60 miles an hour, and we're seeing plenty of lightning with this one storm alone. This damaging wind threat could cause some trees and large branches to fall, and that could injure those outdoors as well as damage homes and vehicles. And we could see some roadways become blocked with this. So locations impacted include, but are not limited to, these are just some of the bigger town names here: La Plata, King George, Dahlgren, Nanjemoyne Creek, Port Tobacco River, Popes Creek, Wycomico, Bryans Road, Potomac Heights, Pomfret, Port Tobacco Village, Marbury, Wheatonville, Port Tobacco, Ironsides, Ripley, Mount Victoria, Rayson, Belle Alton, and Newburgh. And you're going to want to move indoors and really get away from windows as the storm continues to push to the south here. What I do want to do is give you a look at one of our traffic cameras here from 301. And I'm going to see if I can't just get that loaded up here quickly. I've been watching this over the last little bit. We just saw a nice flash of lightning with this. So again, this is a look at 301 north. And you'll see, I can kind of see here the darkening of the skies. As we get towards nighttime, it's a little harder to use the traffic camera, but you can kind of see out here when we're seeing plenty of lightning with this storm as it continues to race down here towards the Newburgh area, really following 301 southbound. I would assume that was just a malfunction there with the camera, but you can continue to see, looking at plenty of lightning with this storm as it continues to move southward. And I'm sure if you're over in Indian Head or Pittsgill or even La Plata or Waldorf, you've probably seen the frequent lightning strikes. We're looking at a lot of cloud to ground lightning strikes here. Looking at that heavy rain, we're really starting to see a little bit of a hail threat develop with this as well. Let me bring it back on over here towards radar. Let me get that up on my screen as well. We'll take a look quickly to see really what we're looking at with this storm in terms of wind gusts as we allow that to load up here. But what we will really notice here is, again, just so much lightning here in the Pittsburgh area as it continues to track here further to the south. We're really not noting any great rotation potential with this storm, which is great news. It really is just going to be this heavy rain threat. And then if I don't want to forget our friends on up here for portions of southern PG, southern Anne Arundel, northern parts of Coward County. Again, going to get in on this locally or heavier downpour. Nothing too crazy. We're not seeing much lightning with this northern side of the storm, but do be aware, Dunkirk, Chesapeake Beach, down towards Huntingtown, maybe even down towards Prince Frederick, getting in on this over the next hour or so. And we'll see if this line can really hold together. If we were to try to put a storm track on it, and that worked the first time, which is great news. Now, again, we're pushing south here, generally at about 15 miles an hour. So this would be an idea of timing here over the next hour with some of those bigger town names. So we might see some of this get into parts of St. Mary's County. I really think it's going to be likely right along the Wicomico River here. So areas from Avenue, Bushwood, Chaptico, Morganza, maybe as far west as Mechanicsville and Loveville. We'll have to see about that. The worst of it's going to be in the Orange Polygon. So I would even be on alert down here for southern parts of Charles County, Cava Island, Swan Point, on over here towards Mount Victoria. This area, you're probably going to get in on some of that nasty weather, as well as areas towards Colonial Beach, Index, this area on over towards Dahlgren as well, and parts of King George County. But we'll continue to watch. This is a pretty serious storm, and we actually do have a report, and I want to see if I can't just get that loaded up here on another one of my screens to get you the full report. With this line, we saw a report coming about 1 mile north of the White House from emergency management officials in D.C. of at least 100 trees down across parts of the District of Columbia as this line has pushed through. So we're going to note a pretty significant wind threat with this as well. Right now, radar's estimating wind gusts potentially getting on up towards about 60 miles an hour with this storm, but that potential is there for greater wind gusts. And if you hear a siren like I'm hearing behind me, that would be the train that I now do live next to coming through. So my apologies with that. That needs to work through, and I'm sure they'll blast the horn pretty loud as they move through the residential area. But again, this is going to be what I think we continue to watch here over the next little bit. Just quickly glancing, I do see one comment asking about areas like St. Leonard. Right now, you really aren't in the concerned area for this. This is really kind of focusing here on parts of Charles County, and rightfully so. You could just see all the different lightning strikes here. In St. Leonard, you might get in on some rain depending on how this line kind of fills in on up towards the north, but I really wouldn't expect more than maybe a few sprinkles unless like this northern storm was able to really kind of grow in size and in intensity. But we will continue to track this again, really coming in here towards the Bryantown area here right around now. Getting on over towards Pope's Creek here by about 9:30, Newburgh around the same time, around 9:34, Mechanicsville potentially by about 9:40, and down towards Chaptico potentially by about 9:53. So I'd assume we're probably talking about closer towards 10 o'clock for the Copp Island area, just because this storm is moving just so slow. It's like kind of inching along to the south. We've been tracking this for a little bit of time now. I want to see if we can just come back over here to some of our cameras here. Again, this is still taking a look at 301. These are kind of the closest cameras we have nearby, but you can see the frequent flashes of lightning, and this is south of the main storm. These cameras are in Newburgh. These storms are still on up towards the La Plata area, so we're not even probably looking at rain just yet in Newburgh, but you're seeing the dark skies. I mean, it's dark outside naturally because we're at night, but we're seeing the lightning really starting to come up, and I'm sure you can hear the thunder off in the distance as well with these storms continuing to move down towards the south, and we will continue to track this over the next few hours. This line will probably clear the region by about 11 o'clock or so. We don't have much development behind this. We've been watching that potential for heavy rain today. Thankfully, much of that was kept down towards our south. This seems to be the only really game in town for much of our region, and even this is really much more localized for parts of Charles and Stafford counties right now on over towards Virginia. I see Isaac wants to know about Morganza right now. Right now, I'm not seeing much in Morganza. You might be just a little bit too far to the east here to see much of this storm. The worst of it should pass to your west, probably moving through right up along the Potomac River here over the next little bit, but you might be able to get in on some of the rain that's currently moving through Waldorf as the storm takes more of a southerly direction here. But again, we saw all that lightning down here towards Newburgh. That storm is still all the way up here towards La Plata near Port Tobacco, and the top part there, the Port Tobacco River. So do stay weather aware. This is a pretty dangerous storm we have moving through parts of Charles County. You want to move indoors. If you know anyone outside or anyone on the Potomac River, you want to make sure you're on land, you're indoors as the storm pushes through, and we could see some localized flooding with this storm just because it's not moving on that fast. I don't think we're talking about widespread flash flooding concerns, but localized flooding, some ponding on area roadways, definitely possible with this storm as it continues down here to move down towards the south. And we're going to continue, I think, really to watch that. I see Chrissy is saying that the power continues to flicker where she is. I'm sure over there towards parts of Charles County. Yeah, some thunder. You're sure you're hearing that on over towards Charlotte Hall. Jane wants to know about Leslie. You're probably not going to see much out of this again. This is far enough to your west where you might see some lightning off in the distance. This is what my mom would call would call heat lightning. It's those. It really happens in the middle of the summer where you can see like lightning far off in the distance, but there's like no thunderstorm, and that's been dubbed heat lightning, which isn't actually a thing. It's just thunderstorms that are too far away for you to see. This would probably be a prime culprit of heat lightning, as my mom would call it, growing up. This would probably be a prime culprit of that. So probably not going to see much on over towards Lesby. You can kind of see how this has kind of been falling apart on up towards the north. If we just take a look at the last hour, the northern part of this line really isn't holding on too well, and you might even struggle to get some rain in northern Calvert County. I think you will, but this storm at one point was severe, now isn't, as it continues to drift down towards the south. So I don't think, you can kind of see how it breaks up a little bit too. I don't know if you'll see much in parts of Calvert County or St. Mary's County out of this. If you do, it's going to be far northern Calvert County and far western parts of St. Mary's County, west of 235, north of Leonardtown, likely. My heat lightning is totally a thing. It really isn't, I promise you. What you're seeing are just, it's really just cloud-based lightning, and you can see that miles and miles away. The other night I was driving around with Ryan, and there were storms where I'm currently living near Harrisburg. There were storms well about 30 miles to the north, and we could see the lightning from those storms because those thunderstorm cloud tops are so tall. So you can see that for 30, 40, 50 miles away. So I promise you. Not too much of a thing. But yeah, we're getting some reports of power flickering. I don't think we have any active outages right now. I'll take a quick look on over towards the SMECO website quickly. I don't think we have any widespread power outage reports coming in, but let me double check that before I put that to paper. We have a couple. Let's see. Right now we have about 1,000 customers out. If I bring you on over here, you can see that really over here towards the Indian Head area. I want to see if I'm able to. No, that's not what I want. Yeah, let's do this by zip code. Yeah, you can really see that's kind of focused up here towards Indian Head. I don't know if that's necessarily weather related, but that does tell you that potential is there. For at least some power flickers. And I see Stephanie says that she calls it heat lightning too. And yeah, that's a very easy way to call it. I have vivid memories growing up when it would be like 100-degree day, and then in the evening you just see the lightning. But there's no storm around. You don't even hear the thunder. It's just lightning. But those are just storms that are likely like 50 miles away that are just producing cloud-to-cloud lightning. So you wouldn't hear any thunder really with that, especially with how far away that would be. But yeah, that's a little Weather 101 for you. That's what that is. But yeah, so I'm sure if you're over towards Prince Frederick or Lesby or down towards parts of maybe even St. Mary City, you probably, I don't know necessarily how clear the skies are right now, mainly because I'm not down in southern Maryland at the moment. But if the skies were clear enough, you could probably look on off towards the direction of the storm, so to your north, and you could probably see some lightning on up up in the atmosphere there for you. But we will continue to track this storm. I don't suspect we'll have any more warnings with this storm for our core part of our coverage area, so this will probably be the last update I do here for you, unless we get any new storms to develop. But do stay weather aware, especially down here for parts of southern Charles County, King George County. You have a nasty storm on the way. This is a pretty dangerous storm, producing, we're still registering up near 300 strikes of lightning with this bad boy as it pushes southward, and this is going to put down a decent amount of rain as well, and this isn't moving fast at all. So do stay weather aware. I'll continue to keep you updated here on Facebook, where the vast majority of you are watching. For the one person not doing that, you can always, again, get those updates anywhere. The main hub to get JB Weather content is jbweather.net. But have a nice and safe one, and keep it tuned right here to JB Weather for the latest information.
Check the forecast anytime online at jbweather.net.